Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show with me, Kavita Thapliyal, and let's talk about credit cards. Credit cards have become one of the most popular ways to spend money. They come with a predefined credit limit that can be used to make purchases. However, initially, credit card issuers offer a lower credit limit depending upon factors such as credit score, current income, and more. But once you start using your credit card and pay the dues on time, credit card issuers often increase your credit limit. But the big question here is, should you be opting for a higher credit limit? Let's understand all of this with Ameet Venkeshwar, Chief Business Officer of LoanTap. Ameet, good evening and welcome to the show. So, a very important question for a lot of people, people who have only one credit card or whether who have more than one. A lot of people use credit card as emergency money. So having a higher credit limit is obviously something that they want. It's on their list, but then initially are not offered. But then what is that stage or that threshold when you reach somewhere, maybe in your financial life, it is important for you to have a higher credit limit?
So typically, a finance institute will lend about 2 to 3 times of your monthly income. That's a credit limit that's been offered. The kind of credit limit that an individual requires is not more than 25 to 30% utilization, which is about what his monthly income is. That's the way you can maintain a discipline. But it's also an emergency money which everyone would like to have it, and that's why the reason is not more than 3 or 4 times of your monthly income. That's the limit that you should look at in terms of your credit card. Either it's broken into multiple cards or a single card. It does give you an advantage in terms of higher limits in terms of your loan and all, which will enhance your points on the bureau as well.
So once you have a higher credit card limit, first of all, it's how important it is for you to have a higher credit card limit. What should be the justification behind it? I mean, a lot of people in India also have more than one credit cards, and if you are that person, should you be having a higher limit on all your cards or just one is enough? Because you also have to figure out a repayment strategy if you've been using all those credit cards.
Yes, having a limit is not an issue in terms of your card, but maintaining that discipline because the availability of credit and running it out. So then ideal
Sure.
situation is you
So,
need to
Amit,
break.
the question also is how much is enough and how much is higher? How do we decide that?
So it's about the cash flow, right? So as I said, my monthly utilization, if I understand, if my card, if I have single card or I have 2, 3 cards, if my utilization is within that 25 to 30% range, then I am well off. If my monthly transaction is going, say 50, 60%, yes, I am looking at a riskier side in terms of debt and managing that. So your limit will always have, a ceiling of 4 or 5 times of your monthly income. That should be an ideal situation to break it up into your.
Okay. Also, what's the right approach, Amit? Because what happens is all these banks, they track your financial behavior. Okay, if they see you as a person who's been using a lot of plastic money, they might offer you a higher credit limit, out of the turn. I mean, even if you don't deserve it, even if you don't want it, they will come and lure you with that. Should that be the case, or you will analyze all your expenses, and if you think that you fit in that particular category where having a higher limit is okay, you can approach the bank. How will the bank read that kind of an approach, or how do they assess your demand for a higher limit?
So again, plastic has been used extensively. So
Right.
banks do track your transaction and your repayment record, but also utilization. That's what I said again and again. That's an important factor. If banks see that you have been utilizing almost 70, 80% of your limits, even though you are paying on time, that's not an ideal situation in terms of increasing the limits by much. When somebody is using continuously and rotating his card payments at around utilization of 40 to 50%, that's an ideal situation because that gives a comfort to the financer also that this guy is not going overboard and is managing his finances well. So that's the trick in terms of running, getting a higher limit of cards with the other funds.
Also, tell me what kind of an impact it has on your credit score. Now, if someone has asked for a higher credit limit and has more than one credit card, uh, uh, your credit score impacts only when you fail to pay the money, right? Or does it also impact when you are inquiring for a higher limit?
So, credit score will not get impacted if you have a higher limit card, but yes, it helps you get bigger limit loans and all because you have demonstrated a track in terms of having a card limit of higher amount. Score will not get that much impact, but yes, it adds certain points in the bureau score which will enable you to get higher loan.
Important to have a disciplined approach if at all you're using one card with a higher limit or you have multiple credit cards. Always have a repayment strategy to pay back that money, and also assess the kind of expenses you have if in case you're the person who is demanding for a higher limit. Thank you so much, Amit, for being on the show and helping our viewers with that. Thank you.
Thanks.
And we move on. We at the Times Network are back with our flagship event, India Economic Conclave, which is known to set the stage for driving India's economic agenda as we move forward on the path of integrated, equitable development, which is all-inclusive, all-pervasive, universal, and one that strengthens not just the Indian economy, but the global one as well. To pursue this agenda, the theme for this year is India, the emerging third superpower. IEC will feature the biggest voices from politics, global markets, economy, and corporate world. So get ready to catch all the action here on Times Network. And then post that, let's help you plan your financial portfolio keeping inflation in mind. We'll be having Feroz Aziz on board, and also we will discuss your portfolio strategies after this break.
पानी से भरे